Audio test. Grievous bodily harm. You will hear an audio script concerning a mission-related topic. This script will be followed by a conversation between two persons. This conversation will relate to the script. You will hear the tape only once. You will make notes of the script and of the conversation, and from these notes, you will have been instructed either to answer 10 questions or complete a written report of the incident. Good luck. On Friday, 17th of November 2006, at 2145 hours, an incident involving a grievous bodily harm was reported to the police station number 3. The caller who reported the case identified himself as Gustav McBulley, 35-year-old restaurateur. He stated that two persons were assaulted by 4 young boys inside his restaurant named Velocity, situated in the downtown at Terina Street number 14. Immediately, a patrol unit was dispatched to the scene of the incident. On arriving at the scene of the incident at 2155 hours, the two police officers of patrol unit observed that the tables inside the restaurant were messed up and there were pieces of broken glasses, an iron rod, and pool of blood on the floor. The restaurant owner stated that a group of young boys was sitting and drinking beer from 1900 hours. At 2115 hours, Roberto Guerra and his friend Jose Cruz arrived and sat on the table next to those boys. The boys were starting to make a lot of noise and were using abusive language. After 10 minutes, Roberto requested the boys to speak slowly, but the shortest of the boys hit him on his head with a beer bottle and he fainted. When Jose stood up to stop the boys, they started to beat him also. A boy wearing a blue baseball cap took out an iron rod from his bag and struck on the head of Roberto, and they all fled. They left in 2 cars speeding towards Vernia, south from the restaurant. Both the injured were taken to the city hospital, about 3 kilometers north from the restaurant. The restaurant owner described the 4 boys as young in their early 20s, and they were all wearing jeans pants and jackets. One was 185 centimeter tall, dark, and heavily built. The second one was 180 centimeter tall, thin, and was wearing a blue baseball cap. The third one was also 180 centimeter tall and stout, and the fourth one was the shortest of the 4, 165 centimeter tall and muscular built. The restaurant owner also described the 2 cars. One was a black-colored Opel Corsa with license plate number 121-Sierra Delta-152, and the second one was a white-colored Skoda Aura with license plate number 142-Sierra Delta-555. Shortly later, at 2205 hours, investigation unit arrived at the scene and collected the fragments of broken glass pieces, the iron rod, and blood sample for evidence. Police investigator asked the restaurant owner to come to the police station to give his statement and left the scene. At 2230 hours, the patrol unit arrived at the city hospital and found out that Jose Cruz had received 3 stitches above his right eyebrow and minor treatment for the bruises on his right cheekbone and temple, whereas Roberto required emergency surgical treatment and was inside the operation theater. After some time, the attending doctor advised the police officers that the operation was over, but the patient was still in a very critical condition due to a middle meningeal artery hemorrhage and was unconscious. The doctor told them that he would telephone them at police station number 3 as soon as the patient became conscious and is able to have conversation. The following conversation is between an investigation officer and the restaurant owner.
Good morning. Could you please tell me your name and where do you reside?
Good morning, sir. My name is Gustav Makbuli. I live in the downtown at Terena Street, number 14.
Could you tell me your age and occupation?
I am 35-year-old and I am the owner of the restaurant Velocity where the incident took place.
Did you know Roberto Guerra?
Yes, I knew him, but only as a regular customer. He used to come to the restaurant on almost every Friday.
Can you tell me what happened in your restaurant on Friday 17th, November 2006?
There were 4 young boys who had come to the restaurant that day at 1900 hours. All of them drank beer. It was around 2115 hours when Roberto arrived with his friend Jose Cruz. They looked around for a place and then sat on the table next to the one where those 4 young boys were sitting.
What happened next?
The boys were making a lot of noise. They were using abusive words. I could tell from the look of his face Roberto did not like them. Roberto requested them to talk slowly, but suddenly the shortest guy stood up with a bottle and whacked Roberto on his head. Roberto could not defend and he fainted and fell to the floor.
What happened then?
The boys also beat his friend when he stood up to stop them. One of the boys, who was wearing a blue baseball cap, took out an iron rod from his bag and struck on the head of Roberto, who was still lying unconsciously on the floor, and they all fled.
How did they leave?
They left the restaurant in 2 cars and went in the direction of Vernia, south of my restaurant.
What happened after that?
I called the police and reported about the incident.
What happened to the injured?
Jose was not very injured. Although he was bleeding, he seemed to have minor cuts and bruises. We all helped to carry Roberto into his car and Jose drove him to the city hospital, which is about 3 kilometers from the restaurant.
Can you give me the description of the boys?
They all were about the same age, in their early 20s. They were all wearing jeans pants and jackets. One was 185 centimeter tall, dark and heavily built. The second one was 180 centimeter tall, thin, and was wearing a blue baseball cap. The third one was also 180 centimeter tall and stout, and the fourth one was the shortest of the 4, 165 centimeter tall and muscular build, and he had "Damn you" written at the back of his jacket.
Can you describe the car they had used?
One was a black Opel Corsa, license plate number 121 Sierra Delta 152, and the other one was white Skoda Aura, license plate number 142 Sierra Delta 555.
Okay. Do you have any idea where they might have gone to?
As they left the restaurant, they headed towards south. I think they have gone to Vernia.
Do you know anything about the condition of the victims?
Jose received 3 stitches above his right eyebrow and also a minor treatment for the bruises on his right cheekbone and temple. But Roberto is in a very critical condition. He received emergency surgical treatment. Attending doctor has said that he sustained middle meningeal artery hemorrhage and he is still unconscious.
Thank you for coming in. Please inform us if there is anything we might need to know, and we might also have to call you again as we progress with this case.
No problem, sir. Thank you. Goodbye.